Hey Dad, wanted to share a game I played today. Um, wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, and the opening was really bad, but there were a couple cool ideas that I was really happy to find. So it was d4, d5, and they played c3, which is a major sideline. They'll either end up bringing their bishop out and play London with a weird move order, or they'll play some wacky nonsense, basically. So I just developed my knight, and they played f3. So they chose the wacky nonsense. This, to my mind, is the idea they want to push e4 and just totally take control of the center. But playing f3 totally weakens this diagonal, which can be very dangerous. So big drawback. I figured since they want to fight in the center, not with that, I should counter strike in the center first. They hit my knight, just developed. I went here, and here I definitely should have taken, because now they are threatening to take, and then hang on to the pawn if I can't capture it back. But I developed my bishop, and they did not take, so I took. They took. I attacked the bishop, asking it if it was going to take the knight or not. They decided not to, so I reinforced the center. They developed, got my queen out. This is an idea in a line in the Queen's Gambit, or an idea where you bring out the queen to pin, and then you can bring out the bishop as well, and sometimes the knight there. Not this time, but I figured it was a natural square for my queen. They attacked on the king side. I dropped back, reinforced the center. This pawn structure is very much like a Jobava London. And so normally I would castle queenside if I get move ordered into something like this, but I didn't feel like it was safe with the fully open c-file, putting my king there. So I decided not to, and put my rook there instead. They pushed takes, and here I thought was a really interesting move is bishop c2, which I've given dubious, or I've given the notation of dubious. It's an interesting idea based on how it turns out. Computer says it's a blunder, but after takes, the idea being I'm attacking now the queen and the rook with the discovered attack. After takes, I'm up an exchange, but then now my rook and my knight are hanging, so I have to sacrifice the rook back, which got a brilliant move. They take, and I save my knight. So at the end, we traded rooks and knight for bishop, so it was a totally equal trade. Wasn't as cool as I thought it was. And it was bad because they can sack the queen and then take my knight, and if I try and save my bishop, then they take here and I lose my bishop, or I lose this bishop, and if I take here, then I lose this bishop. And either way, it's a rook, knight, and bishop for my queen, and a pawn. So rook, knight, bishop will always beat a queen. So it was a cool idea. It didn't quite work, but in the game, it worked just fine. So I saved my knight. They brought their bishop back so that I didn't double their pawns. And here I played another move that I'm calling dubious, bishop b4, because the queen was dragged around. It's no longer protecting the bishop, or the rook, so now the pawn's pinned. and I'm adding pressure to the knight. And this move doesn't work, because if they bring the rook to defend the knight, then they are threatening to take. So the rook's no longer here. And I just have to move my bishop back. Another option is to bring the king in, which is scary, but it protects the knight, and the knight needs a defender, so also possible. But they figured that the king would be safer on the king side, protected by some pawns. So they started running. And I gladly won a pawn. This hits the rook, so they defended it with the queen. And here I found a move that I was really happy to see was the best move, was knight e7. Simply that my knight over here does nothing, and it'd be much happier over here. And they ran their king to the king side, so I might as well bring my pieces to the king side. My opponent immediately played bishop d6. I'm not entirely sure why. It's not a good move. It doesn't stop what I want to do. Now, if I don't immediately move my knight, then they'll take it. But I just moved my knight again. And now the bishop's hit. They attack my queen. But I just brought my knight here to target this pawn. So I took it. King moves. Bring the check. Take the check. Oh. I thought I took the pawn first. Here I found another move that I thought was really, really nice. That ended up being the best move, and it was king d7. Simply with the idea of my rook needs to get into the game. And there's nothing they can do about it. But it was cool to see that, just the king move with two knights and a queen right next to the enemy king. This is the computer's top choice, just to slide the king out of the way. They attacked my queen. Here I missed just mate and two. I saw that. I saw the rook move, of course, and then I was looking for a queen move or a knight move to give the mate, and I didn't even think about another check with the rook. But I just took this pawn. Now also threatening any discovered checks. Like that's that'd be a mate, or just about anything would be mate. They sacrificed their rook, but I didn't bother taking it. I just justified my king move with checkmate. So a couple cool moves. This bishop sacrifice that didn't work but was cool. The rook sacrifice was, it got a brilliant move but wasn't anything special. Dubious bishop move, but then the knight retreat and the king walk were both really cool ideas that I was happy to find.